The Pittsburgh Penguins lost a tough one against the New York Rangers on Wednesday night in the season opener at home to start the 2024-2025 season. Now they turn their attention to the Detroit Red Wings, who are just getting their 2024-2025 season started. My name is Scott McGregor, and it's time for Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on Penguins Postgame here on Sports for Beginners, and it begins now. Joel Blomqvist makes his NHL debut after Tristan Jarry had a really rough night in Pittsburgh in the Penguins home opener against the Rangers on Wednesday night. And speaking of debut, Anthony Buvarelli brought his A game as the Penguins jumped the Red Wings in the Motor City in the second period of the game on Thursday night. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Penguins Postgame. My name is Scott McGregor, and this is Sports for Beginners, bringing you Pittsburgh Penguins hockey once again on Penguins Postgame. And I gotta say this about the Penguins' second period on Thursday night. What a start after quickly tying up the game in the first period. I mean, first off, Anthony Buvarelli gets the Penguins on the board before the Red Wings get the jump on the Pens early on in the game on Thursday night at Little Caesars Arena. And speaking of the venue for this game, let's jump into the recap. But before we get into the period by period summary of this game, let's go between the pipe and talk about Thursday night's starting goaltenders for the Penguins and the Red Wings. And we'll start off with the head coaches of both teams. We'll get to the starters in net before we take our first break of the program as we go along in this segment. Mike Sullivan is the Pittsburgh Penguins head coach, and on Thursday night, the Penguins would start Joel Blomqvist. They would start Joel Blomqvist. Joel B, I'll say, to make sure I get this right. Sorry, Joel, if I pronounced your last name wrong. And he was backed up by the Penguins starter on Wednesday night in Tristan Jarry. And once again, Joel B making his NHL debut. That's Joel Blomqvist making his NHL debut. Congratulations to him on that. He was absolutely fantastic on Thursday night. The Detroit Red Wings head coach is Derek Lalonde. And they would counter with Ville Husso in net getting the start, and he would be backed up by Cam Talbot. So for Derek Lalonde in the opener of the 2024-2025 regular season, which is against the Pittsburgh Penguins, it's Derek Lalonde. No, I should say it's Billy Husso against Joel Blomqvist. And that was on a night when Joel was making his NHL debut. All right. With that being said, Cam Talbot and Tristan Jarry were the backup for this game at Little Caesars Arena on Thursday night. And it's time for us to take our first break of the program. So don't go anywhere because we'll be right back and break down the action from Little Caesars Arena in Detroit in our period by period summary segment on Penguins postgame next. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techie, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations, as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techie Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techie.
Penguins 6, Red Wings 3. We're about to find out how it all went down at Little Caesars Arena last night in Detroit, Michigan, in a big night for Detroit fans, both on the baseball diamond and in the hockey arena at the hockey rink. Well, we're going to stick to the hockey rink for this game. And it's time for our period by period summary. One of the things we're going to get to quickly before we get into it is I want to give a shout out to number 71, Evgeny Malkin. I want to give a shout out to Evgeny Malkin. 800 career assists in the NHL for Evgeny Malkin. He hit that milestone last night with 2 helpers, or as the old 2-9er Phil Borg would say, 2 apples. And to the NHL, that's a lot of applesauce. In any case, Malkin's 2 assists in the game last night on Thursday night earned him a spot in history, becoming the third active player in NHL history to hit that margin, joining Sidney Crosby and other players in the 800 assist category. He's now ahead of Anze Kopitar for the Los Angeles Kings and Nicholas Backstrom. Both of those guys have 762 assists. Of course, Anze Kopitar has 792 assists. Malkin is now the third active player in NHL history to record 800 career assists. And we'll get into it all in this period by period summary segment, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But to add on to that milestone for Evgeny Malkin, he is now 13 assists behind the second place leader in most assists among active players in the NHL. And that's Patrick Kane, who has 13 more assists than Evgeny Malkin. And then, of course, the captain, Sidney Crosby, has 1,006 assists and currently leads the pack for most assists among active players in the NHL. That's a lot of assists, though, for Evgeny Malkin. By the time you're listening to this game recap, as well as our Rangers recap, which should be going out anytime soon, remember that Big Mac attack thing that the Penguins always tease about? Well, guess what? The Big Mac attack was successful last night. And of course, that is sponsored by McDonald's. So head on over to your local McDonald's in Pittsburgh to grab yourself a free Big Mac, courtesy of Anthony Buvarelli, on his second goal of the game, which gave the Penguins their first lead of the season and first lead of the night in the game on Thursday night. That bought everybody, for Penguin fans, that brought everybody free Big Macs at your local Pittsburgh McDonald's. All right. So we gotta just say this. Do I like the fact that the Penguins got a challenge that, went the other way for them? Because they didn't challenge this. The Detroit Red Wings challenged Drew O'Connor's second goal of the game and of the season, and they got it right. Not because of offside or goaltender interference. Get this, it was because there was a missed stoppage by the officials for a hand pass. So therefore, we had no goal on Drew O'Connor's second goal of the night and of the season. So Drew O'Connor only registers one goal in this game. Speaking of which, let's get to it, shall we? All right, here we go. These are brought to you by timestamps in our description of the episode. We'll kick things off with our first period summary. Our third period will follow the second period. Here is our first period penalty and scoring summary. Let's start with the penalties actually for each period. And when we go into our timestamps here, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the scoring for each period and the penalties for each period. But we're going to start with penalties. So here we go. First up on the list, the Penguins receive 2 penalties in the first period. One to Lars Eller, 2 minutes for high sticking. Time of the penalty, 8 minutes and 24 seconds. That's 8:24. 8 minutes and 24 seconds. And the penalty to Lars Eller for high sticking. Lars Eller, 2 minutes for high sticking. Time of the penalty, once again, 8 minutes, 24 seconds. Christopher Letang would get called later in the period for hooking. Time of the penalty for Christopher Letang, 17 minutes and 1 second. It's a minor, so that's a 2-minute minor penalty to Chris Letang. So Chris Letang sits for 2 minutes at the 17-minute and 1 second mark of the first period. In the second period, Andrew Kopp will sit for 2 minutes to give the Penguins their first shot at the power play of the night, in which they do convert on that power play. Oh, no, never mind. They don't convert on the power play in the second period. But they do convert in the third period, which we will get into in just a moment. Because we're going to get into our scoring in just a couple of moments. But anyways, cross-checking is the call on Andrew Kopp. 2 minutes for cross-checking against Anthony Buvarelli. Time of the goal of the penalty, 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Cody Glass would take the penalties, the Penguins' only penalty of the second period, as he sits for 2 minutes for high sticking. The second penalty the Penguins would take of 3 high sticking penalties the Penguins would take in the entire hockey game. And this one comes at 10 minutes and 28 seconds. On to the third period we go. And this time it's Simon Edvinsson. Simon Edvinsson, 2 minutes for interference. And this one coming just only 54 seconds into the third period. Almost a minute into the third period, I should say. Chris Letang would sit for the second time. This time his penalty is slashing. But the penalty again for Simon Edvinsson is 2 minutes for interference. That was against Cody Glass. But the penalty went to Simon Edvinsson. I'll just say Simon E. Oh, never mind. It got there. It got there. So Simon Edvinsson got the penalty for interference at 54 seconds in the third period. In the third period as well, Chris Letang, as I said, sits once again. This time his penalty is for slashing, and it's a 2-minute minor for slashing. Time of Chris Letang's second penalty of the game, 6 minutes, 27 seconds. The former Toronto Maple Leaf also sitting for 2 minutes at 6 minutes and 48 seconds. He is called for the third and final high sticking penalty the Penguins would take in this game. So you had a high sticking penalty to Cody Glass, a high sticking penalty to Lars Eller, and a high sticking penalty to Noel Acciari. Both happening in different periods. Speaking of which, time to get down to the nitty-gritty with the scoring. And this is where the timestamp will take effect. The timestamp will take effect here. But first, ladies and gentlemen, some breaking news. As we record here, some breaking news. According to Spotify for Podcasters, and I'll post this later on our Discord. But as of today's recording, on Friday, October 11th, 2024, recapping Thursday night's game between the Red Wings and the Penguins on Thursday night, October 10th, 2024. Sports for Beginners has hit another milestone. And this time, our milestone is 1,000 plays Wow. Wow. Over 5,000 plays in the month of September. We found out on September the 7th that we were over 5,000 plays. And it didn't take us very long in the month of October to find out. It didn't take us very long in the month of October to find out about us reaching 1,000 plays, 1,000 streams rather. Our plays all time are 5,535 all time plays. We have 1,125 Spotify impressions. But my goodness me, did you ever expect that? Did you ever expect that? We hit another milestone, ladies and gentlemen. I did not expect that. But you know what? It is what it is. And I love every minute of it. All right. Getting into the scoring here before we take our next break. Getting into our scoring here before we take our next break. Here's how it all went down besides the penalties that were taken. And before we take the break here, actually, we'll take a break after we get through the scoring and we'll get to the game stats, including the shots on goal, since we took some time to bring in some breaking news for the podcast. And we'll do that from time to time. Anywho, the scoring all began with Alex DeBrincat scoring his first goal of the season, assisted by Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin. Dylan Larkin, and Lucas Raymond picking up their first assist of the season on a goal that came at 3 minutes and 46 seconds in. Again, the goal time was 3 minutes and 46 seconds in to the first period. Detroit strikes first, which is good news for them in their home opener. But the Penguins saw this before and had no answer the other night on Wednesday night, October 9th, 2024, when they opened up their season against the New York Rangers. And they had an answer for Detroit tonight in their game on Thursday night, as the former number 72, which used to belong to Patrick Hornquist, it now belongs to Anthony Buvarelli. And that's just his first goal as a Pittsburgh Penguin and his first goal of the season and of the night, because he had 2 goals in this game, assisted by captain number 87, Sidney Crosby, and by number 18, Jesse Puljujarvi, both picking up their first assist of the season. Jesse and Sid picking up their first assist of the season. And Anthony Buvarelli picks up his first goal as a Penguin, as well as his first goal of the season. And for his career, that is goal number. Let's see if we can find out. That's goal number 118. Actually, no, that was goal number 117. Because 118 came later in the game. So congratulations to Anthony Buvarelli on his first goal as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And of course, his first goal of the season and goal for his career, number 117. Sidney Crosby and Jesse Puljujarvi on the assist. And just like that, at 15 minutes and 2 seconds in to the first period, the Penguins have knotted the game up at even Steven. After 20 minutes, it's the Penguins 1 and the Red Wings 1. On to the second period we go. And this is where the Penguins jump on the Detroit Red Wings. But if we know the Detroit Red Wings Penguins fan, we figure the Red Wings are not going to let the Penguins run away with it in the second period. And they did not. But here's how it all started. As I mentioned earlier, Drew O'Connor, DOC, had a goal that was taken back due to a hand pass missed game stoppage. If you don't believe me, check out the highlights and check out Drew O'Connor's disallowed second goal of the season and second goal of the night. He did, however, get one goal in this game, and we're going to get to it in a second. But Anthony Buvarelli gets things started for the Penguins as they go up 2-1 on the Detroit Red Wings, as he picks up his second goal of the season, 118th goal of his career, and second goal as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization in his first year as a member of the Penguins. On the assist, Marcus Pettersson, his first assist of the season. And Captain Sidney Crosby picking up assist number 2 on the season and 2 on the night. We talked about Evgeny Malkin in the opening. And guess what? He gets one of his 2 helpers in this game on Drew O'Connor's first and only goal of the season and of the hockey game, as that comes in right after the goal for Anthony Buvarelli came in at 2 minutes and 55 seconds. This one comes in at 3 minutes and 53 seconds, excuse me. And number 71, Evgeny Malkin on the assist. His first of the season. And number 65, EK65, Eric Carlson, picks up his first assist of the season. We were looking for a assist in this goal by number 28, Marcus Pettersson, but couldn't find it. So the Penguins are now ahead of the Detroit Red Wings 4-1. They are ahead by 3 as Marcus Pettersson scores for the Penguins at 5 minutes and 28 seconds in. His first goal of the season. It's unassisted. And it also looked like there might have been a deflection, but there was no deflection called. So as of yet, we don't know. Yes, we don't know if that is a unassisted goal. But as it stands right now, it looks like it will stay unassisted. Time of the goal once again for Marcus Pettersson, number 28 of the Pittsburgh Penguins. 5 minutes and 28 seconds. And speaking of newcomers, Vladimir Tarasenko gets on the board here and gets Detroit within 2 as he brings the Penguins lead from 4-1 to 4-2 and picks up his first goal as a Red Wing and his first goal of the season. Mortis Cedar on the assist. His first of the season. Alex DeBrincat, his first assist of the season. It's 4-2 Pens after 40 minutes. It's the Penguins 4 and the Red Wings 2 after 40 minutes. To the regulation time period we go. And Eric Carlson strikes on the power play for the Pens, following the Simon E. Edvinsson two-minute minor for interference. EK65 strikes on the power play a PPG for PGH. And that's Erik Karlsson's first goal as a Penguin for the 2024-2025 regular season. Christopher Letang picking up his first assist of the season. And this goal by Erik Karlsson is where Evgeny Malkin picked up his second helper of the night and his 800th career assist of his NHL career. He's now in second place among active NHL players to reach that milestone of 800 assists. Sidney Crosby ahead of him and ahead of Patrick Kane with 1,006 assists. With 1,006 assists. And Patrick Kane has 813 assists. And that's career-wise, by the way. Not for this season. Would have been interesting if it was, but we're only just getting the 2024-2025 season started. So, in any case, Malkin's got his second assist of the night. And career assist 800 of his career. The Red Wings answer quickly with a power play goal of their own. A power play, a PPG for DET, which is the short form for Detroit. This is Alex DeBrincat's second goal of the season and of the night. Assisted by number 56, Erik Gustafsson, his first of the season, first assist of the season. And by number 23, Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond and Alex DeBrincat pick up a goal and an assist, connecting on the second goal by Alex DeBrincat, which is a power play goal for Detroit. And that's the second assist of the night for Lucas Raymond. Time of the goal, after Karlsson's goal, comes at 1 minute and 42 seconds. 8 minutes and 13 seconds. This makes the score Penguins 5, Red Wings 3. Penguins still up by 2. And the former Ranger didn't have a goal against his former team. Last night, on Wednesday night, as we talk about this on a Friday morning, afternoon. It is actually now 12:28 p.m. It is now 12:28 p.m. on a Friday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone in Mississauga, Ontario. That's where we are coming live to you from. And of course, the game itself took place in Detroit, Michigan, just across the street, just down the street rather, from Comerica Park, where another game was going on. Comerica Park is home to the Detroit Tigers, who will now have to play in Cleveland to decide which one of them, which team between the Tigers and the Guardians will face off against the New York Yankees, who eliminated the Royals last night during our game that we are covering for Penguins postgame. In any case, the former Ranger, Kevin Hayes, did not have a goal in the game against his former team, the Rangers, on Wednesday night. But on Thursday night, he got his first as a Penguin and first of the season. And speaking of first, Cody Glass picks up his first assist as a Penguin. And that would seal the deal as the Penguins defeat the Red Wings 6-3. Time of the goal for Kevin Hayes at 12 minutes and 21 seconds. All right. We are now just over a couple minutes into the program here. So we are going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, 3 stars of the game stats including the shots on goal by period, and of course, we will get into, time permitting, unless we have to take a break, we will get into the shake of the game. This is your reminder to head on over to the Discord server or send us an email at sportsforbeginners8231 at gmail.com. Again, the email address is sportsforbeginners8231 at gmail.com. So, send us an email there, and we'll be right back after this word from our friends at Sienna T Radio. As I mentioned in the Ranger recap, Sienna T Radio is making your day brighter, one song at a time. We'll be back after a quick word from Sienna T Radio here on Sports for Beginners for more Penguins postgame, which continues in just a moment.
Sienna T Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on Sienna T Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on Sienna T Radio.
Welcome back to Penguins postgame here. Second Penguins postgame of the 2024-2025 regular season for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They get right. They kind of do exactly what the Rangers did to them on Wednesday night and they were embarrassed by the Rangers on Wednesday night in the home opener in Pittsburgh. And on Thursday night, they embarrassed Detroit. Well, they don't really embarrass Detroit, but they do beat the Red Wings 6-3, excuse me. And this one for Detroit, yes, you guys lost the opener, just like the Penguins lost the opener in Pittsburgh on Wednesday night. You guys lost your opener on Thursday night, which was to the Penguins. So I'm happy the Penguins got the dub, but don't lose hope yet, Red Wing fans. It's only the first game of the season. So, as mentioned, our final score from Little Caesars Arena is Penguins 6, Red Wings 3. They'll be back at it on November the 13th. Game goes from Pittsburgh at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The game on Thursday night, which is the game we are recording, and the opener of the series, the 3-game series between the Red Wings and the Penguins. It was supposed to start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Started at 8 p.m. Eastern Time because the Detroit Tigers are still in the MLB postseason, and they were playing at Comerica Park in Detroit, just down the street from Little Caesars Arena. They'll play in Detroit at Little Caesars Arena to bring in the new year for 2025. Game time is at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that game is on December 31st, 2024, the last day of the year 2024. That is a Tuesday. So we will ring in the new year with the Red Wings and the Penguins in the Motor City for their final game of their 3-game season series. And, as much as I would love to say in baseball terms, the Penguins are 2 games away from pulling off the the sweep. Yeah, I just said that. But now we gotta wait for November, and then December, and then pretty much we can figure out whether the Penguins sweep the Red Wings in the season series, or the Red Wings defeat the Penguins by winning the next 2. Alright. Due to time constraints, we will save our officials for another time. But we do have a lot to get to. Let's start our game stats here as I do them on the NHL app. Download the app for yourself to follow your favorite team all year long. We're going to start with our shots on goal before we get into the takeaways, giveaways, block shots, hits, penalty minutes, power play, face off, and you get the picture. So let's start with the shots on goal by period. So in the first period, the Detroit Red Wings finished with 13 shots on net. The Pittsburgh Penguins finished with 7 shots on net. shots on goal. So 13 for the Red Wings for shots on goal in the first period. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, 7 shots on goal to wrap up the first period. The Penguins turn up the heat in the second period, hitting 14 shots on goal. And the Red Wings, I want to say they were stuck in the mud, but they keep it kind of close as the Penguins finished with 14 shots on goal in the second period. The Red Wings finished with 11 shots on goal in the second period. They finished with 8 in the third period, and the Penguins finished with 7 in the third period. All in all, the Red Wings defeat the Penguins in the shot total 32-28, which, if you think about it, when you do 32, take away 28, the Penguins were only down by 4 shots. They get a couple of good shots and maybe win this game 7-3. They probably hit Pater and not only score a touchdown in football terms, but they win this game by 4 points. And yeah, you know what? Normally when I see a goal get called back, like the one that Drew O'Connor thought he had, but it got called back due to a missed game stoppage for hand pass, as the referee, as you'll hear in highlights, we won't play them for you because we don't have the rights to do so. But as you'll see on highlights, when you see Drew O'Connor's goal, his second goal of the game, you'll notice that the referees do get together. I think it's a Red Wing challenge. Whatever the case was, the referees got together and they looked at it. And then a referee said, after review, it was determined that we do have no goal and there was a game stoppage missed for hand pass. So with that being said, the shots on goal, as I said earlier, are 32-28 in favor of the Red Wings. 69 faceoffs were played in this game. Detroit winning 32 of 69 for a faceoff percentage of 46.4%. The Penguins won 37 of the 69 faceoffs. And that is their faceoff percentage at the end of the game at 53.6%. The Penguins were 50% good on the power play as they score on one of their 2 attempts, the goal coming by Erik Karlsson, EK65. The Red Wings also score, but they had 5 attempts on the power play. So they go 1 for 5. And their percentage for power play, not good. 20% for the power play percentage. That's not good. But hey, getting a goal on the power play, no matter how many tries it takes you, is a whole lot better than getting nothing. Penalty kill for the Pittsburgh Penguins, 1 for 5 in this game, coming off their perfect 2 for 2, I believe. I'll check back here to the Rangers for 1 second, just to find out what our power play looked like. Yes, they were a perfect 2 for 2 against the Rangers power play, who was 0 for 2, 0 for 2, rather, in last night's game in Wednesday night's game, I should say, because we are recording this on a Friday. And the Penguins 0 for 3 power play made the Rangers perfect 3 for 3. Against the Red Wings, they score on 2 attempts. They score once on 2 attempts, which means the Red Wings penalty kill, is at 1 for 2. The Penguins penalty kill killed off 4 of their penalties. So they actually go 4 for 5, as they do give up 1 goal on the man advantage to the Detroit Red Wings. That goal, the second of the night for Alex DeBrincat. And that would ultimately make it 5-3 Penguins over the Red Wings. All right. Moving along. The Penguins spent 10 minutes in the penalty box. The Red Wings spent only 4 minutes in the penalty box. So the Penguins spent 10 minutes in the penalty box tonight on a Thursday night. Of course, this is a Friday afternoon recording right now, because it is 1:01 p.m. Eastern Time as we talk to you now and roll on. And of course, the Red Wings finished the game with 4 minutes in the penalty box. They finished the game as well with 19 hits, 12 blocks, 14 giveaways, and 7 takeaways. The Penguins finished with 20 hits, 16 blocked shots, 13 giveaways, and 4 takeaways. So the Red Wings getting the better of the Penguins in the takeaway game. But the Penguins getting the better of the Red Wings, only giving the puck away 1 less time to the Red Wings than the Red Wings gave the puck away to the Penguins. And it was a milestone night for the ages. Joel Blomqvist, first career NHL win, first career NHL start in net. Anthony Beauvillier, first NHL goal as a Penguin, and 2 goals on the season. And of course, the lead moneymaker of this program for milestones, Evgeny Malkin, gets that 800 assist per year mark and is the third player among active NHL players to hit 800 career assists, and he does so with 2 assists in Thursday night's contest. Penguins back at it with the Red Wings, as I said, in November, but they won't be playing at Little Caesars Arena until New Year's Eve. Game time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is the same time as the game was supposed to be going on, or no, sorry, did go scheduled on after it got rescheduled from 7 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern due to what was happening down the street at Comerica Park in downtown Detroit. All right, with that being said, it's time for the 3 stars of the game, and we are not doing an introduction for this segment for this year. Just going to see how things go without that. So without further ado, if you are displeased with how the 3 stars shake up as what I'm about to read to you, please send us an email at Sports for Beginners Podcast 8231 at gmail.com, or head on to the Discord server under Penguins Postgame Show Interactions. In future Penguin Postgame Show descriptions, I will leave a link to the Discord server for Penguins Postgame Show Interactions. And you can let us know your 3 stars of the game, your game puck of the game recipient, and so much more. Here are your 3 stars of the game in Detroit. Your 3rd star tonight from Thursday night's game. I know I keep saying tonight, but you know what? I'm going to say Thursday night from now on. So your 3rd star from Thursday night's game today, number 71, Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin. 2 assists, 2 points. No goals in the game for Evgeny Malkin. Your 2nd star on Thursday night, number 93 for the Detroit Red Wings, right winger Alex DeBrincat. 2 goals, 1 assist, and 3 points. And your 1st star, left winger for the Penguins, one of many of the Penguins who had a milestone night. Two goals, no assists, 2 points. The man currently wearing the number that used to belong to Patrick Hornquist. Number 72, Anthony Beauvillier. Anthony Beauvillier, Alex DeBrincat, and Evgeny Malkin. Your 3 stars of Thursday night's contest. Jig of the game coming up after a 30-second timeout, which we are going to take. And we're going to take that to the game pucks of the game. And on that break, we will also wrap up the program as we set you up for Hockey Night in Canada. Penguins at the Leafs as the road trip for the Penguins gets started on the right foot. They get a W to bounce back from a loss at home against the Rangers as part of a back-to-back. And now they are playing the Maple Leafs on Saturday night. They'll then play the Montreal Canadiens on Canada Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian listeners. By the time you hear Penguins postgame after our Saturday show, which will follow the Buffalo Bills postgame show, Bills and Jets from Monday Night Football. As the Bills play in week number 6. You will hear our conversation of our recap of the Montreal Canadiens and the Pittsburgh Penguins from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. After that, the Penguins are home to play the Buffalo Sabres, Carolina Hurricanes, and then they are headed off on the road for an afternoon contest with the Winnipeg Jets before Night Owl Club, Night Owl Club, Night Owl Club. The Night Owls are back starting on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, when the Penguins are in Calgary, Alberta, for a showdown with the Calgary Flames to kick off a trio of late night games. We'll talk about it all when Penguins postgame returns to wrap up with the shake of the game, the play of the game, and of course, game pucks of the game. Plus, we preview Leafs versus Pens from Scotiabank Arena. The head coaches of Toronto and Pittsburgh during that preview. Plus, how the Leafs fared in their second game of the season. It's all coming up when Penguins postgame continues right after this. Stick with us. Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners. It's been a hell of a day and a hell of a recording here for Sports for Beginners on our second Penguins post-game show. And we haven't even put out our first Penguin post-game show of the 2024-2025 season. But hey, I know someone who's waiting for us to bring you that on the ice and behind the benches. And that would be my brother, Thomas McGregor, host of the program. He's also the host of a new program dedicated to talking Toronto Maple Leaf hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Leafs Post Recap. Something just like we did last year with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sorry, not Toronto Maple Leafs. And it was actually a year ago when we did it with the Toronto Raptors. We called it Raptors Post Recap or Raptors Game Recap. Thomas is bringing you on the ice and behind the benches. On the ice and behind the benches, I should say. He is bringing you a Toronto Maple Leafs content program called Leafs Post Recap. And you'll be able to catch the first edition of it following Saturday night's game on both Sports for Beginners and on the ice and behind the benches. That's after the Pens play the Leafs on Saturday night. Before we get to that, we are not going to do the officials for the Red Wing game tonight because I want to keep that for another time. So sorry about that. What we are going to do now, however, via an introduction, is we are going to get into the shake of the game. And of course, we are going to get into, yes, we are going to get into the game pucks of the game. Before we get started, however, and we get to our introduction, it is time for the play of the game, which on the Penguins Radio Network, even though we don't have a sponsor, when the Penguins Radio Network does the play of the game, it's always brought to you by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. For us, it comes to us courtesy of myself tonight. If you have a play of the game, let me know before we get the show rolling, because we're doing it on voice memo right now. Let me know before we get to this point in the show. And sometimes I will give you the chance to talk about your play of the game. And I hope to do that eventually over the course of the 2024-2025 regular season. But my play of the game is going to go to the same player who got the play of the game from the old 2-9er Phil Borg on the Penguins Radio Network last night. That's going to go to DOC. That's going to go to Drew O'Connor. Yeah, he got a goal that got called back, but his first goal was probably one of the best ones I've seen him score as a member of the Penguins. And I don't see the Penguins play a lot in person, but I do see them play and hear them play on WXDX FM Pittsburgh. I do see them play from time to time on my Sportsnet TV station. and I'm trying to find a good server to watch the game so that I can watch Sportsnet Pittsburgh when Josh and the gang have you on the local broadcast for Penguins hockey. And I have yet to tune into a game on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. But the good news is, until I can figure that out, I've got either Sportsnet or I've got WXDX FM Pittsburgh 1059 DX. All right. With that all being said, my play of the game is going to go to Drew O'Connor. I thought Drew O'Connor's goal was probably one of the best ones I've seen of the night, because I did watch the highlights before we came on here, and I thought Drew's goal was a really nice goal, and I really like that kind of gut punch the Penguins took from Wednesday night, and they used it to bounce right back from a loss and get a win against the Red Wings. With that being said, the play of the game has come and gone. Now it is time for the shake of the game, inspired by the Milkshake Factory ad by former Pittsburgh Penguin number 59, Jake Gensel. Of course, the Milkshake Factory is back doing that, and the Milkshake Factory is the official milkshake of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So every time Brian Rust scores, oops, I might have spilled the beans. Ooh, sorry about that. Ah, well, the cat's out of the bag now. Yes, it is the Rusty Razor, Brian Rust, with the chance to get everyone milkshakes half off at the Milkshake Factory, the official milkshake of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So anytime Rusty scores, you get half off Rusty's shake at the Milkshake Factory the next day after the game. We're going to do that shake of the game introduction. And then from the shake of the game, we'll move to the game pucks of the game. Plus, we've still got the preview of Leafs versus Pens. And we will do that following game pucks of the game. Let's get to our introduction now. Now it's time for the shake of the game, where we find out who stood out in tonight's hockey game. So let's find out who stood out in this one and who just might need a little pick-me-up. It is indeed time for the shake of the game, and this is the point of the program where we have hit our halfway point of the program. Well, actually, we are closing in on the closing moments of the program. Our halfway point of the program was 3 stars, game stats, and more that we took in, I should say. So with the game pucks and the shake of the game left on the board, we are going to get into who just might need a little pick-me-up. And tonight, that's going to go to Billy Husso, who was pulled in the game for the Red Wings. He got pulled after giving up 4 goals against, which were all even strength goals. He made 10 saves on 14 shots. And Cam Talbot took his place. Faced the same 14 shots. Made 12 saves. Gave up 2 goals. 1 an even strength goal and 1 a power play goal. Either way, I want to give a pick-me-up to Billy Husso, who was the starter for the Detroit Red Wings. My shake of the game is going to go to the player of the game. Shake of the game is going to go to Vladimir Tarasenko. I thought Vladimir Tarasenko played really, really well. 1 goal, 1 point, no assist. On the ice total for 13 minutes and 50 seconds for 22 shifts. 4 shots on goal, 1 hit, 1 giveaway. No takeaways, and he did not take a face-off. And how about for the Penguins? Well, a pick-me-up is going to go to goaltender and debuter Joel Blomqvist. We are going to give it to Joel Blomqvist. I thought Joel Blomqvist played really, really well in his game. He did give up 3 goals, 1 on the power play and 2 at even strength. And even though he did that, he still managed to make 29 saves out of the 32 shots he faced. Save percentage for Blomqvist is .906. He did play the full length of the period, from the first period to the second period to just almost the second period, as he played 59 minutes and 46 seconds on the ice. The runner-up, and actually our shake of the game recipient for the Pittsburgh Penguins, is another guy who got a milestone day. And I would give it to Anthony Beauvillier, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to number 71, Evgeny Malkin. I'm going to give it to Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin had a really nice game. 2 helpers. No goals for Evgeny Malkin. But listen to this. If Malkin had gotten 2 goals in this game, he would now have 500 career goals in his career, which would be double the milestone for Gino. Right now, he sits at 498 goals for his career. For his career, he's played in 1,147 games, recorded 1,298 points, and he's been plus 49 for his career in terms of plus minuses. So let me run those stats for you again for Evgeny Malkin's career. played in 1,147 games. Played in 1,147 games. Has 498 goals to kick off the season for his career. He doesn't have a goal yet in this season, but that would make it 499 career goals for Gino. He now has 800 career assists with the 2 assists he got on Thursday night, and has recorded 1,298 points in his career. Wow, 1,298 points in your career. Way to go, Gino. To account 800 assists for your career, 498 goals, with 502 goals away, and you could do that right in this season with the first 2 goals you score. You're right there with it. You're right there with it, Malkin. You're right there with it. Again, as I said, points for Malkin's career, 1,298. He's played in 1,147 games. With the game against Toronto on Saturday, if he plays, being game 1,148. Again, that'd be 1,148. That game, if Malkin plays against the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday, which I believe is possible, will be game number 1,148 of his career. He is a -3 right now for the 2024-2025 season. But you know what? 2 points, 2 apples, 2 goals. Sorry, no goals yet in this game. 2 games played. 2 apples, 2 points, -3. Gino's going to turn it up at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if it's tomorrow that he hits 500 goals for his career. But we all got to wait till we see it happen. Evgeny Malkin getting the shake of the game for the Pittsburgh Penguins from me. Joel Blomqvist getting a pick-me-up shake of the game, but I do think that he did play really, really well. And on the Detroit side, Billy Husa is getting the shake of the game pick-me-up for Detroit. And Vladimir Tarasenko, the former St. Louis Blue, is getting the shake of the game for the Red Wings in their 6-3 loss to the Penguins. All right, so speaking of that, up next for the Red Wings, as we have reached the preview point of the program, up next for the Detroit Red Wings, their next 5. They are home to Nashville Saturday night. So they're back at it on Saturday night. As are the Penguins. They are back at it on Saturday night. They'll play the Nashville Predators in their second game of their 2024-2025 regular season. A home-and-home back-to-back against the New York Rangers, beginning at Madison Square Garden on Monday night. Which is Canada Thanksgiving. Then they'll play Thursday on the 17th in Detroit. And then Nashville will host the Red Wings on Saturday, next Saturday night, October 19th. (2024). Then the Red Wings will get a crack at the Islanders on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. And the following Thursday after next Thursday, October 17th, 2024. The New Jersey Devils are in Detroit to take on the Red Wings. The Red Wings are just getting their season started. They started the same way the Penguins did last night, on a Wednesday night rather, when the Penguins fell 6-0 to the New York Rangers. This time, the Penguins embarrassed the Detroit Red Wings, or rather ruined the Detroit Red Wings home opener, and beat the Red Wings 6-3. They'll do it all again in November, on November 13th, 2024, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, in Pittsburgh, on 5th Avenue. Looking forward to that one. But not as much as I'm looking forward to as we go to the Penguins' next 5 games. As I'm looking forward to this Saturday night, on Hockey Night in Canada, the Pens battle Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Maple Leafs home opener in Toronto. It's the Maple Leafs and the Penguins Saturday night on Hockey Night in Canada at 7 p.m. Eastern. We will try to come your way on Saturday night after the game. If we don't, we'll have the post-game show coming for you on Sunday. Double Trouble on Sports for Beginners returns on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, as we recap Week 6 of the 2024-2025 NFL Buffalo Bills regular season, as the Bills play the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football. And before that, we'll recap here on the ice side of things. We'll recap Pens and the Canadiens from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. Game time on Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 Pacific and 12:30 a.m. in the UK. Watch the game on Prime Video, as Prime Video and the NHL proudly present Monday Night Hockey. All right. With that being said, that will move on to 2 games at home against the Buffalo Sabres and the Carolina Hurricanes on the 16th and 18th of October. Those are Wednesday and Friday. And then it's the Winnipeg Jets hosting an afternoon game on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern between the Jets and the Pens. Sunday, October 20th, 2024. But wait, there's more. Buffalo Bills are not on the bye week yet. So there's more. Maybe Double Trouble is back on Sunday, October 20th too. Gonna check the Bills schedule right now. On October 20th. Are the Bills playing on Sunday? They are. So you'll get back-to-back afternoon games that you can keep an eye on. And we'll flip the script here. From the ice, we'll go to the gridiron first on that Sunday. Then we will go to the ice right afterwards as we talk about the Bills and the Titans, followed by Canadiens and the Penguins. Oh, nope, sorry. Jets and the Pens from Winnipeg. And then before a trio of late night games begin, starting on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, the Pens will head to Calgary to kick off this trio of late night games, starting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And of course, with that all being said, that will lead into Connor McDavid versus Sidney Crosby in Edmonton. And then the Vancouver Canucks host the Pittsburgh Penguins in Vancouver. All right. With that all being said, let's go one game at a time. And next up on the slate for the Pens, 2 Canadian games as we speak, as they go head to head with the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday night. Then the Montreal Canadiens on Monday night. And again, that is when Double Trouble on Sports for Beginners returns. That's right, Double Trouble is back, as the Pens and the Canadiens go to battle at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Canada Thanksgiving in Canada. On the Thanksgiving holiday in Canada at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And meanwhile, on the gridiron later at 8 8:15 p.m. At 8:15 p.m., the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen play at MetLife Stadium against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. That's going to be a good one. So be sure you stick with me for all of that. That is it for Penguins post-game. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to do the game pucks of the game. Oh, well, you know what? We're signing off now, so you know what? We're going to go ahead and save that for the Toronto Maple Leaf recap. I completely lost track of our time. Sorry about that. So, no game pucks of the game for this game. But when you think about it, when I was doing the pick me up shake of the games, recipients that I did, I guess you were saying, well, I guess you could put the game pucks of the game in here. Regardless, we did it all via the shake of the game. So we will talk to you again real soon on Penguins post game. But for now, the Penguins beat the Red Wings 6-3 to improve their record to 1-1-0. They'll face a 1-1-0 Toronto Maple Leafs team who also got right last night on Thursday night. On Saturday, as they defeated old friend Sheldon Keefe and the New Jersey Devils by a final score of 4-2. Pens and the Leafs at the Leafs home opener next time on Penguins postgame right here on Sports for Beginners, the podcast. My name is Scott McGregor. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today on the podcast. Would love it if you took a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. Have a great rest of your day. Let's go, Pens! And I look forward to catching up with you again real soon. We'll see you next time right here on Penguins postgame. Let's go, Pens! Thank you so much for checking in to Penguins postgame this season, Penguins fans. Your host of the Sports for Beginners podcast, Scott McGregor, here. I just wanted to let you guys know that it brings me great joy to bring you a show like the one we brought you last year, and it brings me even more joy with everything that has come out of it as well, as we try to navigate through quite a year with milestone after milestone in the month of October and the month of September. As mentioned again, my name is Scott McGregor, but if you have any questions, any concerns, any content you want aired on the program, please send me an email at sportsforbeginnerspodcast 8231 at gmail.com. Once again, that's sportsforbeginnerspodcast 8231 at gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast and for listening to this episode of Penguins Postgame. We will see you next time right here on Sports for Beginners. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.